Hey guys, Ryan the Nerd here today. We are going to be taking a look at the Dark of the Moon Bumblebee. Yes, so basically, I had this figure basically since the movie came out, and Dark of the Moon came out in like 2011. So I basically got this figure. I didn't see it in theaters or anything. I actually I got the movie on DVD and then I watched it. So, but basically, yeah, it's just Bumblebee basically. My opinion of the Bayformers. The first one was decent. It wasn't horrible or anything like that. It has some funny moments. But the final battle between Optimus Prime and Megatron, that was kind of stupid. It was not really enjoyable for me. The Revenge of the Fallen, I know that it has some flaws, but it's basically like my guilty pleasure movie. And I used to watch that movie all the time, and I still do. But I think the final battle in Egypt is probably the best final battle in any of the Bayformers. The third one had more. I think Michael Bay listened to hit had actually listened to some of the criticism of his movies, of the Bayformers. The reason why Revenge of the Fallen just got so crappy and all that, and people hate it, is actually because there was a writing strike. And so that basically means that they had a limited time of actually writing the script and all that stuff. But basically, Dark of the Moon had a way more in-depth characters, and I felt way more for the humans, and the final battle between Optimus and Sentinel was pretty cool. It felt like a apocalyptic thing, so that was pretty cool. And then Megatron came in and just kicked Sentinel's ass, so that was also pretty cool. Transformers 4, there is still some plot holes in that, but I think that, yet again, Dark of the Moon, I think the humans were a little bit more in-depth, and also the action was still pretty cool. Last night, I was just gonna give one word of my opinion on that movie. Trash. I hate it. I think that was the worst out of all the Transformer movies. I didn't give a single crap about any of the human characters. I think that the only character that actually, made me laugh and actually, cared for was probably Mark Wahlberg's character. I just butchered his name because I have terrible, my mouth in speaking English is not that great, but terrible movie. I hate it. But basically, so, still of my opinion of the Bayformers. What about the figure itself? Well, to be honest, the reviews that I've seen on this figure, apparently this figure came out, it was like a promotional, thing. So basically most of the toys in the Transformers 3, I don't know how it went for, all the other movies, but I'm pretty sure that the Transformers 3 toys actually came out before the actual movie came out. So this was the toys were kind of like a promotional image. And if you're wondering why does he have thrusters and he doesn't look like actual Bumblebee, it's actually because I'm pretty sure that Hasbro saw image and the trailers of Bumblebee and all the others have these mech techs. Because in the film, you know that they kind of split apart and they have weapons coming out over them. The one time that they actually did is when Bumblebee and the other Autobots were, rolling into the legal, nuclear testing site or whatever, and they just kind of, exploded the whole place up. And then it was the highway chase where actually Bumblebee actually had all the weapons coming off of him and stuff like that. So basically, this was, a promotional thing. I mean, it looks nothing like the film, especially these thrusters, but I'll get to that later. But, you know, very nice figure. It's a Camaro. I don't know what type of Camaro this is, but all I know it's a Camaro. And you got the Camaro logo there, you got the grate and everything. But basically, very nice. It rolls very well. It rolls very nicely. It even has some tinted windows. So basically, if you don't know what that means, it basically means that the windows on the actual figure, or the Transformers figure, are actually, kind of dark, so you can't really see in that. Because if this was clear, you would see this. To be honest, if you're wondering what this is actually not how it's oh my god, I accidentally just hit the camera. How silly of me. No fancy editing like the other review, but you turn this head around. This is actually how it's supposed to go, because, and you can see why I hate it. It reminds me of those, It reminds me of the Transformer toys. Mr. Chicken, my good friend Nolan, actually did a review on a smaller Transformer toy. It was about the size of Overload here. It's kind of like that. So basically, it was like this. It was like the vehicle mode, and you actually have the car itself, and then you flip it over, it has like the robot mode and everything. So that was kind of like Overload, and this is basically what this reminds me of, and I hate it. I hate it. It's very distracting to me. The car, the other side of the car is it's very nice and clean and stuff. I know that this bothers me as well. But if I just look underneath, all my immersion is broken, and you can see that there's Bumblebee's head, and then you have his feet. But I think that they could have just hid the head a little bit more. And the reason why I hate the thrusters so much is because they look like nipples. I mean, I'm not even joking. That is like, those look like eyes or nipples. Awesome. But if you look underneath, you have a license plate. So you got the 99 stare, whatever that is. Can't read English, apparently. But that is very accurate to the film. Because in the movie, they have like the license plate and everything. And then you see Bumblebee's license plate. So that's very accurate to the film. Then basically, you know, got very nice. It fits together very well. It's nice and solid. But I think that the robot mode is a little bit better, in my opinion, than the car. And so let's get to the actual transformation. So how to transform is that you wanna split the front of the wheels like this. So then they fold out like that, and they collapse on the side of the doors. And now that will give the back kibble that he had in the movie, where the doors go on his back. So then you want to flip these out, and then you have his kind of doors on the back. So, oops. And then you want to have to kind of fold that out like so, and then bam, now you kind of have to fold that. So then basically what you want to do for the feet is that you want to untab the bottom half of the car. And then for this is actually on hinge joint, so then you want to fold it up like that. And then we'll deal with the other half, and then we'll do this. We'll do that later, but you want to untab the legs here, and you want to fold this out like so. So this is a separate piece, so it makes like the round of the actual back of the car, so the wheels fit. You want to untab that. This part moves and that part moves, so you have to split it apart at the exact same time. So then you have this thing pull away and also that, and then you want to fold down the feet like so, and then you want to do the exact same thing on the other side. It helps if you actually fold in the feet first, so then it has a little bit more clearance of actually pulling away. Fold that down, and then fold that down. Then you want to kind of have to fold that up, and then do this right here. So then try to get it a little bit nicer, folding it like that so it's nice and clean. And then for the actual face, that you want to pull out these arms here. You want to pull out his arms. These are in hinge joints. So then you want to have to do that, and then kind of like that. Now, then you want to untab this piece right here. Well, it doesn't really untab, but it just kind of sits there. So you want to pull that over that. You want to have to fold the actual back of the car, the front of the car, down to his chest, like so. And then you want to fold that, and then you want to flip out the front of the two sides of the car, and these ones are in hinge joints. And then you want to have to, you can have his back like that, but that just makes it look weird. But I like it like that, so it makes it a little bit more nicer. And then for the back, you kind of have to fold the doors like so, make sure everything's nice and tight, and all that stuff, and bam! Now you have Bumblebee in his robot mode. Very nice. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. I'll give it that. It's not terrible. I think that the car mode is a little bit better than the robot mode. Just a tiny bit better. I'm probably sure I just changed it, but I was actually meant to say that the car mode is a little bit better than the actual robot mode. I said that the robot mode is a little bit better than the car, so I meant to switch that around, but I'm a dumbass. So basically, you know, I think that the robot mode, the car mode is a little bit better than the car is a little bit better than the robot mode. So basically, I'll get to my issues in a second, but very accurate to the film. I think that it has the best, like, good looking robot mode. And the reason why I think that the car is a little bit better than the robot mode is because of the articulation and the structure of it. But everything else is very accurate to the film. You have the top here that overlaps on the front of the car, and then you actually have the, and if you notice in my previous Transformer reviews, I mentioned kibble. Now, if you don't know what kibble is, just Google it, just say, what is kibble Transformers? And I will give you the definition. But, and also I mentioned in my other reviews. But basically, the reason why I'm not getting as mad as this kibble on the back here is actually because it's accurate to the film. If it's not accurate to the cartoon or the film, I hate it very much, because why show up all the back thing? But I'm not mad at it because it actually looks a little bit nice and a little bit clean. And I'm not mad because it's actually accurate. So, the doors here, very nice. So, you know, very nice, very nice. And then I don't like this piece here, but who really cares? But, you know, nice. And I don't like the thrusters on the feet. This is not accurate to the film as well, so that's just, I hate it, and I don't like to look at it. But everything else, and also, just like the car mode, fits together really nicely. So, despite how old this figure is, I'm pretty sure I got this in 2011, when the film was coming out. So, yeah, so basically, everything fits together very nice. And also, there's no paint chipping ever, like, anything. But my issues on this figure is probably the head. Now, you realize the head is very accurate. You can see that the head is very accurate at the film. I'm not doubting that. The one thing, there's two reasons why I don't like it. One, if you go on the back here, because I flipped it around so it doesn't look ugly in the car mode, but you see that this whole piece is clear blue plastic. It's the same color as the windows. Now, basically, this would indicate light piping. If you don't know what that is, it's basically when a Transformer figure has the whole back of its head, it's clear, and the eyes are also the exact same thing. Then you would stick the figure underneath a light, and then the light will travel through the back of the head and into the eyes that is made of the same color and plastic. But why make the back of the head clear and just have the eyes painted over? What? It gives your character a little bit more life, and like, look at that. See, there's the light. Like, if I move that down, and then you can see that there's the light. It's pointing directly at his head. Like, look at that. It's not even, it's painted over. And I hate it so much. And if you see that on top of his head, that is the shape of an Autobot logo. But if you notice, there's no Autobot logo on his head. And in fact, there's no Autobot logo anywhere on this figure. Go back and look at the car mode. Where I was looking at the car mode, you can see the entire thing. There's no Autobot logo anywhere in this figure. Like, look, there's not on any of the doors right there. See, look, there's not on any of the doors. It's not on the side. It's nowhere. It's nowhere to be found, sorry. So, I hate it. Why make it an Autobot if you can't have an Autobot logo? Is that the point of a Transformer? But, anyway, he does have, despite the issues, but he does have an accessory. So, yes, basically, this is a mech tech weapon. Now, if you don't know what this is, a mech tech weapon is where I'm pretty sure they only did it with the Dark of the Moon because because they said that they were having upgrades with all the weapons coming out of the car mode, like I said before. But, so basically, Hasbro was like, oh, they have to have some mech tech weapons. So basically what this is that you have a plain weapon, right? So it looks like a engine or something. And then it looks like a tiny gun. So I guess those are supposed to be like the actual, where the bullets come out, or the lasers, whatever. And then you would flip on the switch, or switch on the thing, and it would flip out. And then you have another gun. The reason why I'm doing it manually instead of actually pulling the switch is because the switch doesn't really work that well. I mean, if I kind of do like that, then, I mean, if I kind of just, I mean, it doesn't work that well, so. But, you know, it's very cool how it works. I still like it. So then you have the little actual gun. So it's very cool. I like it. It's very nice. And basically, you can actually plug in his weapon into these holes. In the car mode, there was 3 holes. There was one right here. There's actually 3. So then there's 3 on the where the window was, on top of the window. So then you could stick it there, and then it would look cool. And then you would have it here. I don't do that in the robot mode. I mostly put it up here because I don't like it because in the robot mode, this would fold down and it would get in the way of the windshield, and it just looks so bad, and I hate it. But basically, in robot mode, you have it on his arm. Like, you have the 3 holes, the 2 holes there, and you would have it on its arm. Like this. And I do not like it that much. If you're wondering why I do not like it that much, it's because I think that maybe it should have held in his hand. Like, no, it doesn't hold in his hand. Like, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit in there. So you literally have to do it like this. And I hate it because it looks like Megatron, the G1 Megatron. It, like, if you flip it out, then that looks like a fusion cannon. And I hate it. So I don't really like to use it in the robot mode. But if you're not using it in a robot, if you're not using it in the robot mode, instead of throwing it into your Transformers bin like an idiot, or just throwing it in a plastic baggie where it might get lost, you can actually store the gun on his back. Yeah, so basically you have weapon storage. And weapon storage, it actually makes the figure a little bit cooler. So then you would have it like, you would have him reach up, and then basically, like, you know, you got, like, put Megatron or whatever just defending, and then you would have that. So that's pretty cool. So I love the weapon storage on this guy. But for articulation on this guy, it's not that great. I mean, it's decent. I'll give it that. It's not great. But for articulation, you got a ball joint at the head. Can look up that far. Can't look up that far and down that far. It's very limited. It's way better than the Freddy, where his head was so loose that it would look like a bobblehead when you shook it. But, you know, it's not that bad. For the back here, everything on here is a hinge joint. So the doors are on a hinge joint. This is on a hinge joint. That's on a hinge joint. This is also on a hinge joint. The whole back section is also on hinge joint, so you can have the back like that. I have it like that, so it doesn't look too bad. For the arms here, oh, well, actually, for the front, god damn it. Okay. For the front of the car, this is also on a hinge joint, so, you know, you can get some, like, you know, you could fold it out a little bit more, kind of look nice. For the arms here, in and out, and then you have a rotation, so it's a ball joint, very nice, so you can get some, like, whatever. Then you have that's the bend at the elbow, and then there's no wrist articulation, but there is a swivel at the elbow, so that's cool. No waist swivel at all, but for the legs, he can kick that far and move back that far, so pretty good kick and forward, back. So it's this is where the ball joint is. I don't know if you can see that, but it's like moving. So if you look at this part right here, it's moving on its own. So that's a swivel there. This is on a rotation. The side panel right here is on a rotation. Very limited bend at the knee. It's not that great, but it's decent. And then the back, the nipple thrusters, whatever, that's on a hinge joint. And then this is on a hinge joint, so he can, like, his actual foot can kick, and then you have a little toe bend, and then basically you have, like, a pivot. I guess you can call that a pivot. If you move it just kind of slightly, so it doesn't, like, break the sculpt, then I guess it's like a pivot, but if you move it, like, even, like, slightly, then it looks weird. But he does have he has a decent spread. If I kind of move this, then it's a little bit nice. And then you have a beautiful spread. And then I popped his leg off. So that's not good. That's really the first time that actually happened. So, posability on this guy is not that great. But you can get some detailed, like, dynamic poses and all that stuff. It's not terrible. I mean, it's not as terrible as Freddy, because Freddy's joints were god-awful. But I think that this is a decent Transformer figure. And actually, it's probably one of my favorite Autobot Transformers, Bumblebee. And I'm pretty sure that this figure is like the only Bumblebee figure I have, so he's gonna have to do. But if I get another one, like a Studio Series one or something, I might do a review on that. Just kidding, I will do a review on that. But hopefully it's a little bit better. The articulation is better. But for right now, the car mode and the way that the robot mode looks, I'm pretty sure that's gonna be better. So, you know what time it is, guys. Like, subscribe, do whatever I don't really care what you do. So, but you already know the time. So, bye, guys.